Every year out of all the E3 press conferences, I'm always the most excited for Sony. PlayStation is just kind of my favorite brand.
Users lose all sense of reality and enter another world.
I think that they have the best exclusives, so it's completely justified. While I love Nintendo and Microsoft, I think that Sony really usually knows how to give us an excellent presentation and show us games that we love and care about, and they usually deliver once those games come out too, so
Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.
that's why I was so excited for this year, especially with the likes of Spider-Man and The Last of Us Part 2. I was confident in it being a fantastic show. And I can't say that it wasn't fantastic. They did show us really awesome games.
You really gonna go through with this?
What's up, guys? I'm Ryan Ramakrishnan, and today I want to talk to you about my full thoughts on Sony's press conference.
So I'll ask you, Samurai, do you surrender?
The presentation was strange this year, and I wasn't actually happy with it. What they did was they showed us The Last of Us Part 2. Then they sort of gave us an intermission, which is already bizarre. Then from there, we started to see some content from other games. You know, we had a few trailer after trailer, but not a whole lot of trailers in the end. And then, at some point we'd get to the next big one and then the next big one. And after Spider-Man showing, which was fantastic, by the way, it sort of just ended like that.
Maybe the city needs our friend more than you think.
I don't understand that. The thing is, in the past, Sony has done really well with their press conferences. The last few years, I just remember being mind blown. These big surprises, new IPs and sequels that I never knew were coming, and everyone just got stoked. The internet was full of people talking about it. And that's not to say that it didn't happen this year, but the pacing and the structure of the show made it just awkward and uneventful. There was barely any talking about the games. I wanted something like Phil Spencer at Microsoft's show or Todd Howard at Bethesda's. They kind of got me hyped, and we didn't get any of that for this. By the time it ended, I was just like, was it another intermission? I looked on Twitter and everyone was kind of saying the same thing. I think that one of the biggest problems is that Microsoft was previously, so I'm going to ultimately compare. Most people probably did and will. The Xbox show had 50 games, 18 exclusives. That's what Phil Spencer said. And there was only a few exclusives and a few games overall at Sony's.
Once there was an explosion, a bang which gave birth to time and space.
Regardless, the games do look great, so I'm excited for them. I think that the other games they showed us are also quite good. I mean, they had some really awesome trailers for other games, but I just wish that they had more. I wish that they structured it and paced it better. I wish that they had someone talking about the games. And I wish that it was more of a presentation and press conference that they're known for. Like I said, I just don't know. This press conference was pretty weird overall. That's a good word for it.
However,
the games are awesome. I'm really, really excited to play these new PS4 exclusives.
Let's talk about something for a minute and get it out of the way, okay?
Trover Saves the Universe.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Bathtub Guy, and we're here at E3 to take some looks at this new game I'm going to show you right now.
A very weird game to have at this press conference based on the tone of everything else. It almost doesn't fit in. Now, this is definitely a small tier game in comparison to everything else. People probably forgot it was at the press conference. That's not to say it doesn't look good. It looks like a fun game. It looks like it's going to be really funny. I love the comedy behind Rick and Morty's creator, Justin Roiland. I think it's hilarious, and also I've heard a lot of great things about the Rick and Morty VR game, as well as Accounting Plus for VR. So if they get their hands on another game and it's funny and it's a fun time, it looks like some sort of action platformer.
There's some action platforming stuff in this little piece of shit.
I'm down to check it out for sure. Let's talk about the game that opened the show, The Last of Us Part 2, a violent, very realistic, emotionally driven, and honestly amazing looking game demo and trailer.
Every guy in this room is staring at you right now. Maybe they're staring at you.
Being sold on The Last of Us 2 is not very hard. I was instantly ready for this game right when it was announced, and I was very excited because The Last of Us is a fantastic game by all accounts, and Naughty Dog is one of the best developers in gaming, if you ask me, and I think that many people would agree. Their work on The Last of Us proves that they can tell an amazing story and build a world and an atmosphere and even gameplay that are just incredible, and The Last of Us 2 looks like it's going to improve on all of that. I absolutely loved what PlayStation's showcase had to show us for The Last of Us Part 2. The gameplay looked absolutely violent and brutal, and I'm totally all for it. I mean, it looks awesome. Walking around, sneaking and making sure you don't get caught, but then ending up in combat and just brutally stabbing and fighting people and just clearly trying to survive as Ellie, who's learned so much from the last game when she was younger, is awesome. I'm extremely excited for the adventure that this game has to show us. And the cinematics are absolutely beautiful. I mean, I couldn't believe when they showed us the scene in the barn when they were dancing and then Ellie was kissing the other girl, how real it looked. I felt like I was watching a TV show or movie.
See, I told you. He should be terrified.
I think that Naughty Dog is just continuing to improve on their art and craft, and The Last of Us Part 2 is an instant sell for me. It looks absolutely amazing, and I think it might be one of my favorites, if not my favorite game of E3 2018. Horror games may not be my thing, and Resident Evil has not really clicked with me, but Resident Evil 2 Remake's trailer at PlayStation's E3 event kind of begs to differ.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not all that big into horror games. It's not that I'm too scared, but something about it doesn't really suit my style of gaming. But I can't help but think Resident Evil games lately just look so awesome. I'm actually excited for Resident Evil 2 Remake, despite the fact that I have no nostalgia whatsoever for the original game. And also, like I just said, horror games aren't usually my thing, but something about the trailer just looks so amazing. I think the visuals and the presentation looks so awesome and exciting, and I just know that people are so incredibly hyped for this, and it just means so much to the gaming community as a whole that I almost want to get excited with them. And I think that this is a big showing for PlayStation's showcase. It's really nice that they finally showed us this game, and they said it's coming out in January, which is pretty soon if you think about it. A lot of people were wondering where the Resident Evil 2 remake is, and they finally know, and it looks really good.
It's coming back!
Ghost of Tsushima, Sucker Punch's next big title, something that is a big departure from their last games, and something that arguably looks even better. I'm amazed by how it looks. I think that the graphics look absolutely stunning, and the world looks like it's going to be a really fantastic place to explore. I'm hyped for the gameplay, the story, and just to see more of the beautiful visuals that this game has to offer. The developers have such an amazing track record with Infamous, particularly some of my favorite games from the PlayStation family of exclusives. And I have no doubt in my mind that Sucker Punch will deliver in this game. The first trailer was really cool, but then E3 2018's trailer showed us some really cool stuff, and this gameplay demo just had awesome looking combat, kind of looking like it's inspired by maybe The Witcher 3, Assassin's Creed, Batman Arkham, all these awesome action games of modern day. So I think that Ghost of Tsushima is already looking extremely promising. I'm also really interested in the world itself, and like the horse riding looks great too. Just looking around as you're riding your horse or walking around, it's probably going to be really nice because it looks like one of those games that is just beautiful. Kind of like the way God of War is a game which, as much as I enjoyed everything that people would want in a great video game, sometimes I sort of stopped and just looked around and took some photos. And I hope that Ghost of Tsushima has a photo mode as well because this game looks awesome. I'm definitely impressed with what they showed us for this new IP. We may have Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. We may have Ghost of Tsushima, but don't forget about Nioh, because a sequel is coming, and even the tease makes it arguably one of the most exciting games that E3 showed us.
You are samurai.
Nioh is a really awesome game. The developers really put a lot of work into making it that sort of Souls-like action game with a lot of challenge, a lot of awesome boss fights, and level design and fun combat that challenges you but makes you feel good when you complete the challenges. And a new Nioh game is definitely welcomed. I haven't really played Nioh before, but I plan to, especially with the sequel coming out, because I think it looks really good. And I believe that it's a big, pleasant surprise for PlayStation gamers, because Nioh is an exclusive that, while not a first-party developer, is still one of the biggest games that PS4 got that Xbox One did not. At first, I thought it was Quantum Break. Then I kind of thought it was Infamous, and both sounded awesome. But combine the two, and it looks like something really cool is coming from Remedy. And it was not shown at Microsoft's press conference. Sony showed us a new game called Control, and while it was only a small snippet, I'm really stoked for what is to come. Originally known as P7, this new game coming from Remedy, the guys behind Alan Wake and Quantum Break, both Xbox games, showed off their new game at the PlayStation E3 press conference this year. And this game looks super cool. I'm really digging what I saw so far with the gunplay and the unique superpowers of moving the environment and stuff. And I'm super excited for what this is. I know there's not much to go by, but this first trailer looks like a game that I'd be down to play. And I think it's a big deal that it was not at Microsoft's press conference, nor is it an exclusive to the Xbox One and Microsoft Windows. But this is a multi-platform title from Remedy, and it looks really cool. I just am really excited for this, and I think it's a nice, pleasant surprise for sure. So Control definitely has got me interested. Captain Jack Sparrow looking like Johnny Depp, and Kingdom Hearts 3. This is Pirates of the Caribbean in Kingdom Hearts. You already have me sold.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
Why are you so happy?
'Cause we get to be pirates again.
While Kingdom Hearts 3 may have had trailer after trailer this E3, it seems to be everywhere. PlayStation's trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 is arguably the best, if you ask me. I was actually really impressed with the pirate ship gameplay and just the idea of Captain Jack Sparrow and the world of Pirates of the Caribbean being in Kingdom Hearts. Out of all the Disney franchises, this is one that I never in a million years would have expected to get a big role in Kingdom Hearts, but they're actually doing it, and that's amazing. Right away, I was stoked when I saw it. I thought that the graphics looked very good for the Pirates characters, including, like I said, Jack Sparrow looking like Johnny Depp, and like also I said, that the gameplay looks like a lot of fun on the ships. And if you're into pirates, well, you don't even have to wait for Skull and Bones because this is coming out in January. But also, of course, that's only one part of it. Kingdom Hearts 3 in general. This is such a big game, and I was amazed when Microsoft had it at their press conference, and I was thinking, no way, is it not going to be at Sony's? But of course it is. The PlayStation Showcase had this trailer. It was arguably a lot better than what we saw at both Square's and Microsoft's, which were basically the same trailers anyway. I think it probably got a lot more people a lot more excited because Kingdom Hearts 3 is just shaping up to be this amazing game.
You have dooms, like me. What's your level?
I've got the extinction factor, but I think you got me beat.
Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding, something that, truthfully, no one really knows what it is.
What the hell is that?
I've been always wondering, is it actually a video game? And E3 2018 let us see that it is a video game. It's different. It's a very unique game. It totally asks more questions than it answers, but it looks kind of awesome, and I'm excited to know more. I couldn't possibly be more confused, but also impressed. I think the main word is actually just curious. I'm so interested. I've always been interested in Death Stranding, and this is no exception. The E3 presentation showed us some gameplay, which I'll be the first to admit it didn't look all that exciting. I felt like it looked like a lot of walking around and no combat or anything incredibly unique in terms of like fun gameplay. But why would I be amazed at this game then?
Watch yourself. Those things never stay gone for long.
This looks like such an interesting world. I think that Hideo Kojima's building something crazy that is going to blow your mind and keep you engaged in terms of storytelling. My guess is that the combat, if there's any sort of actual combat, is going to be something innovative and fresh, and I'm excited for that. I think Kojima's got something up his sleeves that we're not familiar with and that maybe no one's ready for, because I think this game is going to be amazing, in all honesty. I'm so curious because the story seems so interesting but so out there. There's all these weird imagery and weird phrases coming up on the screen, and I'm just so curious as to what it all means. I think that there's a really cool story that's going to go into a lot of supernatural and crazy, mind-blowing things, possibly using time and whatnot. So I'm really down for what Kojima has with Death Stranding, and even though the gameplay looked kind of weird and uneventful, I think that overall the style looks beautiful, the graphics are amazing looking, and this game seems so cool that I'm just beyond interested. So Kojima already has my attention since the beginning. From Software, while still working on Sekiro, has another thing up their sleeves. A big departure for them, a new title coming to PSVR. This is Deracine.
Aren't you excited? You're going to be a fairy.
This game is a VR title, and it's a big departure. It's not an action game, an action RPG like Dark Souls or Bloodborne or even Sekiro that they usually make. From Software's new title is something different. It looks like some sort of adventure game, maybe a horror game even, but it's hard to kind of understand from the trailer. I think it's cryptic and really interesting. I don't know that it's going to be a game I'd play. I don't even have PSVR, but I'm definitely down to see more about this, and maybe it's going to be a really awesome game. It just leaves so much to your imagination and makes you want to know more. So I'm glad that they showed something unique like this. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
Easily one of the most anticipated games of the year, looking like such a great time, looking like it's going to mimic what it is like to be Spider-Man, with such an awesome sense of adventure and flying around the city with webs and fun combat and the charm of all of the different enemies and characters and lore of Spider-Man coming together for a really exciting video game. When I found out that the developers behind Ratchet & Clank and Sunset Overdrive are making a new Spider-Man game that's an open world with combat similar to that of the Batman Arkham series from Rocksteady, you already had my money. I am super excited for Spider-Man. I think it's actually my most anticipated game of the rest of the year, and pretty much has been my most anticipated game this year. It's such an amazing looking game, and the concept is easy money for them because Spider-Man is a superhero that people love, and the mobility and the combat of Spider-Man in the comics and films are something that we don't get to see that much in great games, because there's been Spider-Man games, but they usually aren't up to par with something like Batman Arkham City. It is just going to be a spectacular game for action fans, for superhero fans, Spider-Man fans, fans of open world game, and fans of the work that Insomniac has done. Insomniac knows motion, they know movement, they know combat, they know fun, engaging open world design, and they know how to make an exciting game. And I think that Spider-Man is one of my favorite comic book franchises, and this trailer and this gameplay demo showed us some of the coolest looking villains. I like the designs, I like the idea of seeing Rhino, Scorpion, Electro, Vulture, Mr. Negative, and probably a lot more, to be honest.
How do you like my new suit? Dashing. Where'd you get it? It's an exclusive club.
The combat looks fluid, it looks fun, it looks fast, it looks like something that I'm all for. This is my kind of game in every sense of the word, and I think that PlayStation's showcase did a really good job at giving gamers one more time to see how amazing this game is going to be. September cannot come soon enough.
You?
Alright, that's all I have for you guys today. Now you can see how I felt about the PlayStation show. It was full of awesome looking games with a lot of potential and future, but it wasn't a very good show. The presentation was off, it was weird, it was paced wrong, and they couldn't get me excited the way Microsoft did with someone talking, or the way Sony usually does over the last few years, although they did get me excited with the games. So the games look fantastic. There's like no way to deny that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Were you guys also kind of bothered by the presentation structure? Were you shocked when it was over, and were you wondering if there was a part 2 or something like that? What were your favorite games? Which of the big 4 games are you most impressed with? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and we can talk about PlayStation and E3.